Hello, we're going to be doing buffer solution today. The goal is to gain a better understanding of buffer solutions, to make a buffer solution and to observe the properties of different buffer solutions. The materials we're going to be using will be acetic acid, that would be CH3COOH, sodium acetate. Where's my sodium acetate? Did I forget to grab? There it is. CH3COONA. Okay. Hydrochloric acid. There we go. Sodium hydroxide. Bromothymol blue. Phenolphthalein test paper. And universal test strips. I need some distilled water. Go to distilled water. The 96 well reaction plate. And some plastic toothpicks just for stirring things up. Alright, so what we want to do is, following the directions, we're going to take distilled water. Now I have distilled water in this form or this form. And if I'm going to drop things in, I'm going to drop it with this. I need 6 drops in wells A1 through A5 and B1 through B5. So why don't I pause it while I do this, because that's the boring part. Give me a second. And we're back for the last one, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so I filled up A1 through A5 and B1 through B5 with just straight up distilled water. Now I'm going to do 3 drops of acetic acid, 0.1 molarity acetic acid, in wells C1 through C5 and D1 through D5. Again, this is a little bit boring, so I'm going to pause it and then, well, I'll do the first couple. So I'm going to go C1, 1, 2, and 3. C2, 1, 2, and 3. I'll get back to you when I'm at D5. And D5. It would be here. Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. Cool. Now I'm going to do sodium acetate. Mix these two. Okay, add 3 drops of sodium acetate, so that would be this guy, in C1 through C5 and D1 through D5. So there's going to be 6 drops of something in each well between A1 through A5 all the way down to D1 through D5. It's just the first 10 bins is going to have distilled water, and the second 10 bins is going to have this mixture of acetic acid and sodium acetate. So let me just put in C1. I'm going to put 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I'll get back to you when I get to D5. Oh, I'm at D4. Give me a second. D4. 1, 2, 3. And D5. 1, 2, and 3. Cool. Now, I'm going to mix the solutions well with a plastic toothpick. I don't think I'm going to wash the toothpick in between each mixing when I mix wells C1 through C5 and D1 through D5, mainly because they have the same chemicals in it, so it's not like I'm contaminating one well to the next. I'll just give it a little shake so that way I get all the solution off the piece. There we go. And I'll put this away for safekeeping. No one eats it and all that kind of stuff. Don't pick your teeth with these toothpicks. It could have chemical residue on it, and I know that you're really diligent about cleaning up after yourself and making sure that you're not contaminating anything, but I wouldn't recommend eating or drinking out of anything that you have in your chemistry kit. Even if it's like, hey, I have crushed up blueberry juice inside of here, you know, and I washed it and I put blueberry juice inside of here and I'm going to drink it just because I know that I can eat blueberries. Yeah, but right before that you had hydrochloric acid in there, and so you might not want to drink that. I mean, just in case you didn't wash it all out. Okay, so we need to tear apart 10 pieces of our, put 1 drop of bromothymol blue indicator in wells A1 through A5 and C1 through C5. So bromothymol blue, 1 drop each, huh? All right. 1. Okay. Some of these bottles are easier to squeeze and some of them aren't. So I'm doing A1 through A5, and I'm going to do C1 through C5. Ooh, that's a pretty thing. They all should be the same color. Now, I'm not trying to time how long it takes, so I can stir it up just a little bit and then show you. It's really hard to see because it's going to spill. I don't want it to spill. There it goes. All right. And then I'm going to tear up 10 pieces of the phenolphthalein paper. So I want to get these small little pieces about this size. There we go. Just big enough to put in. And then we want to put these in wells B1 through D1. So here's my phenolphthalein paper. Yeah, honestly, maybe a little bit smaller than the size that I showed you. Just because it's hard to fit these things inside of these small little wells. Come on. There we go. So just to give you a heads up, I did 8 wells with one little strip of paper. So you don't need to make them very big. You can probably even do all 10 wells with one strip of paper if you make the thing small enough. And honestly, they said 2mm strip. That's really small. My strips are way big. I don't think it would change the experiment. I'm going to use this toothpick to kind of push these things down. Now, remember the last thing I did was use this on the sodium acetate and sodium hydroxide mixture. Was it sodium acetate? Sodium acetate and acetic acid mixture. So I used it to push down wells D1 through D5. But before I push down B1 to B5, I know that I have distilled water in there. I'm going to make sure I rinse this thing off real well. And then I'll just push those pieces down. I don't want to cross-contaminate things. In fact, I even use the other side of the toothpick. All right. Now put 2 drops of hydrochloric acid in wells A1 through D1, so that would be going vertical. Hydrochloric acid. Here you are. And they said what? 2 drops? Yep, 2 drops. So there. Ooh, pretty. Okay. Okay. Put 1 drop of... Oh, wait. 2 drops and 1 drop in wells... Okay, so I'm still using hydrochloric acid, and when I go A2 through D2, I'm only going to put 1 drop, not 2 drops. Okay. Now I'm going to put 1 drop of sodium hydroxide, that'd be NaOH, in wells A4 through D4, and 2 drops in wells A5 to D5. So 1 drop in A4, 1 drop in B4, and C4, and D4. Now I'm going to put 2 drops in A5. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, cool. And then record the colors. Oh, okay. Record what you got down. What I would do is I would take a camera, and as you can see, it's nice and pretty and colorful, but I'm not going to show you exactly what it looks like because I want you to get your own results and tell me what you think. I would take the camera, point it down here, take a picture of all the pretty colors, You can shake it up a little bit to make sure that the reaction has gone through and all of that. Take a look at all the pretty colors and all of that kind of stuff. Take a camera, take a picture of it, record it down anyway with, just writing it down, even though you have a picture of it. Provide both the picture and your writing in the table and inside of your lab manual. Make sure you answer all the questions. And the most important part, of course, is to clean up. So for cleanup, I can dump this in the sink, but I'm going to rinse it with lots and lots of water, and it makes really pretty colors. Make sure you don't get the paper down the sink. In fact, make sure you get the paper out. Oh, come on out. All right, one second. There's a paper stuck in here, but luckily, where'd my toothpick go? Oh, I have a toothpick. There we go. Come on out. Okay, so paper, and more paper. There we go. Out. Come on, get out of there. Okay. Well, I'm not going to spend the rest of the video having you watch me clean up the lab. So that's how you do it. Let me know if you need any help. And yeah, aloha.